Complacency leads to casualness, and casualness will lead to casualties. And you will be the casualty. Hey, welcome to the Kmax, and that is the topic of today. I've been an exercise professional now 39 years, and in that time, particularly when I was a full-time trainer, I was to train 50 personal training clients a week, 1-hour sessions back in those days. I was also looking after 2 international sporting teams and Olympic teams, as well as starting up courses. That was the start of Max. And one thing I learnt the hard way before I built that up is I would get clients, but I'd soon lose them. I'd get clients and lose them. So it's like I'm putting water in a bucket, but there's holes in the bucket, and I couldn't work out why I was losing the clients. And I worked out, being human, that you do everything to get a client, but then you do very little to keep the clients. And that's very much a human nature thing. We tend to do everything we can to get the job that we want. We put in a beautiful resume, we dress well, we promise the world, we say we arrive early, we do go the extra mile and all that stuff, and then we get the job. And it's not long before all our promises start to deteriorate, and we're arriving late, we're making excuses, we try to leave early, we lean towards the door. And the same applies with personal relationships as well. You do everything to get the attention of the person that you're attracted to, and you send them roses and cards and texts, and you pick them up and you go on dates and you hold hands and you do all that wonderful things and you impress them, and before you know it, you're in a relationship, whether it be a de facto relationship or a marriage, and then you get comfortable, right? And your comfort leads to complacency, then you become casual, and before you know it, the relation deteriorates away. And when it falls apart and they leave you, and you say, why are you leaving me? He says, well, you don't care anymore, you don't hold my hand anymore, you don't send me flowers anymore, you don't send me love messages anymore, but you did all that to get the relationship, all that to get the job, all that to get a personal training client. And when you get the client, before you know it, you start to get comfortable with them, which is the biggest enemy of success, is comfort. Then that leads to complacency, that leads to casualness, and then you become the casualty because they're always disappointed based on the high standards that you set at the start by what you delivered that gave them the high expectations. Just the other day I went to one of my favourite restaurants, and Rory and I went there, and we've been going there for quite some time, approaching a year. When we first went in there, they were just onto it. Hey, welcome to our restaurant, have a seat. Yeah, it's nice, I have red wine, 2 minutes, bam, the red wine's there. I have these little bread and dips, yeah, 5 minutes, that's there. And they were onto it, and we got on, we built a great friendship, the food was magnificent, and the service was fantastic, and they got to know our names, and we got to know them, we became friendly, and when you get into a friendly relationship, then you get comfortable. And when you get comfortable with your clients, you become their friend, and then say, it's all right, that's Kman, that's Rory, that's all right. And over a period of a year, we were in there the other night, and I said to Rory, I said, this is really interesting, isn't it? Because we went in, hey, how you going? Yeah, go have a seat, well, yeah, go to your usual spot. And we sat down, they came over a bit of a chat, and I'm thinking, normally within 2 minutes, I've got a red wine in my hand, and I'm going, after 15 minutes, I still didn't even have a red wine. But it's all right, Rory came in, and other people came in, they sat down, they get the red wine straight away, or the white wine or champagne, and I'm still waiting. Normally, they just bring bread and dips instantly, within about 5 minutes, and now it's half an hour, and then I say, hey, well, where are the bread and dips? He says, oh, we'll get onto that straight away. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, when I first walked in here, you got onto it straight away. Then I came in here, I didn't even ask, and you got onto it straight away. Now it's half hour later, and I'm asking, and then I'll get onto it straight away. And I thought, wow, isn't that amazing how they got really comfortable in our relationship? And that's one of the biggest enemies in business, is that you get comfortable with your clients, with your customers, and before you know it, you start to take them for granted, and you take that loyalty, but be very careful that that loyalty can soon deteriorate over time if you get complacent and get too casual. And I am not speaking from a high ground. I've been in that same boat. I've lost clients before where I've done everything for them. And I always say that to my Max graduates who become exercise professionals, is always treat your clients as if it's their very first time and they're your very first client. Because if you do that, then you'll be on your game. Before, you have to start the game. beyond before you're on. Because when you first got your first client, I'm sure your first client, if you're an experienced trainer, you got your client, said, yeah, they booked him in, you're excited, oh my God, my first client, and you went home and you got organised, you got your paperwork organised, you organised your folders, you got their name, you got everything ready. You got all your little bells and whistles and your toys and your equipment. You went to the gym early, you got there early, made sure the equipment was set, you got everything in place there, and you're waiting for, and you're about a half hour early, right? And then you're looking out the window, you're waiting for them, and they eventually arrive, and you go, yeah, they're here. And you dressed immaculately, you had a shave, you're well groomed, you actually had a shower, you dressed well, you iron your shirt, you want to impress them, right? You want to impress them to express how professional and passionate and positive you are, so they want to train with you, so they can give you money to build your business and your clientele. You went down there, opened the door for them, you just come in, hey, it's great to see you, what a fantastic day, how's your day been? You listen to them, you ask questions, you're all over them, like a little puppy dog with his little tail going, yay! And then they come in and you say, hey, let's start with the warm-up, and we'll go over to the treadmill. Don't worry, don't walk, I'll carry you. I'll carry you to the treadmill, and then as you're on the treadmill, you're in the front of them, you're leaning forward, you've got open body language, you give them 100% of your attention, because the most greatest gift you can give someone is your attention. And then you take them through the training and you guide them around, and you give them a water bottle, and you have a towel, and you have maybe their music playing, and you spot them well, and you explain the exercise, and you motivate them and inspire them, and then you give them a stretch and a massage and all the bells and whistles to make up a great personal training session that you've established for them. And then they say, oh, well, you enjoy that, it was fantastic, it was great training with you. And they walk out and they go, wow, that was amazing. That was incredible. And they go home and we start referring people to you, and all of a sudden you start to become successful. Yes, and then over a while, when you first start, you're aiming to deserve your success. You work for your success. But then over a period of while, you just expect it. You think, hey, I expect it because I'm the successful trainer. And before you know it, you become a bit comfortable, and you're going, yeah, look how good I am, I've got clients, I'm a trainer. And you build your clientele up to a certain level, and then you start to get comfortable. And then at the end of the journey, by the end, you're arriving late for the personal training session. That's one of the biggest complaints that I hear from clients is my personal trainer is always late. Someone in my family, they had a trainer for a long time, and they said the biggest complaint, they always arrive late. They were always 15 minutes late. Sometimes they train early in the morning. I'm there, and I'm there waiting for them to open up the gym. And they arrive in, and they don't even apologise. They go, hey, how you going? Yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, have a good night. I'll open you up. The first time they start, they apologise. Sorry for being late. But then the apology just tends to disappear, because now they set the new lower standard, and you can, or you choose not to, if you're a client, to accept that standard as now your low level of expectation. So all of a sudden, you walk in as the trainer, your client's already in there. You're second, and they're already in there, and they're on the bike warming up. You go, hey, you going? I'll be over there in a minute. Now, a minute doesn't mean a minute. I'll be 5 minutes. No, 5 minutes is not 5 minutes. But they've been there for 5-10 minutes before you, already there before you. You're the one who's late. And in a minute, you might go there, 8 minutes you're over this. Oh, how you going? And then you're leaning on the bike, and you're going, yeah, and the TV's up there, and you're looking up there, and all of a sudden you haven't had a shower because you slept in, because you had to, I'd better get there quickly. You didn't do your hair, you didn't groom yourself, your shirt's wrinkly, your shoes are dirty, and your attitude stinks, basically. And because you're leaning on the hair, how's it going? Yeah, okay, well, let's go, and off we go, and you walk off. And you just go and train, they put them on the bench press, and you go, yeah, and you count them. And then you say, hey, over there, and you're not really giving them 100% attention. And you start talking about you and your problems, and beforehand you used to ask them about their goals and their life and what motivates them and what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy. But now you're talking about, I'm a bit tired today, I don't know, And then before you know it, you're taken through a series of exercises, and then he says, yeah, see you next week, and you expect the same amount of money for the amazing service that you gave them at the start. And you finish early. All of a sudden the session's early, you got 5 minutes early, off you go, great time, great session, see you later, bye. And then you wonder why over time that client tends to tell you, oh, look, I can't afford it anymore, or I'm really busy at work. And most people are not confrontational, so they'll never actually tell you the real reason why they stopped training with you, because they don't want to disappoint you. As I said, my my family member, they just put up with it for a period of time of them being late because they didn't want to hurt their feelings. And they said, yeah, they're a personal trainer, but they're also a uni student and they're struggling a bit financially. He says, how do you know they're struggling? Because, oh, they tell me how much they're struggling. You're telling them how much you're struggling. Your client now becoming the trainer and the counsellor and the therapist for you? There's the challenge there, isn't it? So biggest challenge is that you get comfortable, you get complacent, and you become casual, and you become the casualist because you actually lower your standards, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, because your standards just start to lower, whether it become, and your expectations lower and your actions lower. Like your relationship starts at a high. First day on the job, in a new job, you're there, okay, what do you want me to do? I'm here, I'm earlier. You do everything you can possibly do to impress the boss. You do everything you possibly can to impress the girl or the bloke that you really got a crush on. You do everything you possibly can to impress the client who's going to become, the potential client is going to become a paying client because that is your new chosen career and vocation. And then over time, you form that relationship and all of a sudden it starts to diminish. It starts to dissolve over time. And I'm not speaking from high ground. I've been exposed to it. I've actually done it until I realised that, hey, I better start changing this. And once you raise the bar up, you have to maintain that bar, if not raise it, if you want to keep raising your goals, you want to raising your expectations, and then you start raising your results and your progression in your career. I was always remember, as I shared, when I was a full-time trainer on the Gold Coast, it was a Friday afternoon because I was to basically train people 7 days a week. It was the only time I had time in the week was on the Friday afternoon where I had a bit of me time where I can go and do my errands and my chores and all my little things, do the banking. Back in the days you had to actually go to the bank with the bank book and write it all out. We didn't have internet banking and all that, or phones back then. And the only phone I had was the big Nokia phone. But that was the only time I could do things, and on every Friday night I'd take my trainers out because I had 6 trainers working for me at that particular time. We were doing close to 200 sessions a week in a personal training studio. And that's quite a very successful business at the time. And I used to take him out for Indian every Friday night to talk about the week and have a good time and share a few reds. But it was that afternoon I needed a haircut. Back in the days when I had hair and you were really busy, you didn't have time to do all those things. So I was looking for a place to get a haircut. So I went to a hairdresser in a plaza in Broadbeach on the Gold Coast, and I walked in. I said, "Can I have a haircut?" And they said, "Look, we're really busy. If you come back in an hour." And I said, "Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll come back in an hour." Which to me, from a business point of view, is a crazy thing to do, because am I going to come back in an hour? Because what I'm going to do in that hour, I'm going to go looking elsewhere to get a haircut, and the chances of me coming back to get a haircut after an hour are very slim. It's like if I'm a fisherman and I'm fishing for fish, and a fish comes to my boat and I've got a net, and the fish says, "Hey, can I jump in the net?" And I say, "No, sorry, the net's already full of fish. Just swim away for an hour, come back in an hour, and I'll empty the net, and then you can jump into the net." Is that fish coming back to the boat? In many times in life, you only got one opportunity. Many times you don't even know when that opportunity is going to be, and when it does arrive, you have to be ready. And if that means you have to adapt your fish and your net accordingly, you've got to get the fish, because when that fish goes, it's not coming back. When that opportunity leaves, it's not coming back. So a great little business lesson, which I experienced as a customer to that. I said, wow, that's interesting. So I went looking. So I found another hairdresser, and I walked in. And they were also very busy. I was like, see all the cutters in the back, and I walked in. There's a lady behind the desk, and she walked out from behind the desk and she said, "Hey, welcome to the hairdressers. My name is so-and-so. What's your name?" So my name's Kman. Says, "Welcome to the hairdressers. Hey, come in, Kman. What can I do for you?" Says, "Oh, I'd like to have a haircut." Says, "Certainly, we can certainly organise that for you. Have a seat there, and I organise a haircut for you. Now, as you're waiting, would you like a coffee or a tea or a beer and a wine?" I thought, my God, a beer and a wine, that sounds bloody good. I've been training people all week. I'm a bit thirsty. Wouldn't mind wetting the whistle, and as nice as a coffee and a tea, but I said, can I have the beer? So certainly. So she went and got me a beer, gave me a beer. There's all, she says, "Have a magazine." There's all these magazines on there. There's sporting magazines and geographical magazines and all sorts of trendy magazines. So I grabbed the Sport, called Inside Sport. I'm reading the magazine, having a beer. Now, were they ready to cut my hair that particular time? No, because all their colours were full, like the other place, but they got me in the net with a beer. How cool is that? And a lot of the things I learnt in my personal training studios at that time, I learnt from other industries of what they did really, really well. And she said, look, have a seat, won't be long, all the colours are full, but as soon as one frees up, you're next in line. I says, fair enough. Then a guy comes over and he says, hello, my name's so-and-so, let's get you ready for your cut, we'll give you a shampoo. So I said, fair enough, okay. So I grabbed my beer, I went over to the basin, I laid down, he starts to give me the shampoo, and then he puts a conditioner in, then he gives a treatment, and this just took forever. I'm going, oh my gosh. Then he gives me the best part, which is the scalp massage, and I go, oh my gosh, it's just incredible. It's the best head job I've ever had. Scalp massage. I thought, that's incredible. It just went for ages. Then he lifted my head up and gave me, massaged my neck, and I go, oh, after a big day of training people and 50 sessions a week in that week, and then after that, he says, okay, well, he drives me off. It just went for ages. It's just such a wow experience. It was such an over-deliver of my expectation. And then I sat down, and then the cutter says, hey, it won't be long, my name's so-and-so, it won't be long. He says, yes, enjoy. And I go, and then the lady comes over and says, hey, see your beer's empty, would you like a wine? I said, yeah, give me a wine. So she brought other wine. It wasn't expensive wine or expensive beer, but the atmosphere made it taste just magnificent. So the wine was from a cask wine, but because there was music pumping, I just had a scalp massage, and I was just in a great mood. I'm going, wow, everything tastes good at that particular time. And as I'm waiting, this little girl comes over. She's probably around about 17 or so. She says, "Hello, my name's so-and-so. I'd love to, while you're waiting, you want me to give you a hand massage?" I said, "Oh my gosh, I got a head job, now a hand job. Oh my gosh, I get a scalp massage and I get a hand massage." So she sits down beside me and I said, sure. So she gets out the cream and I'm having a beer, reading I'm a wine by then, having a wine, reading my magazine, and she's giving me a hand massage. I thought, my gosh, this is incredible. I was ready to walk out right then and pay the money. He says, can I come back tomorrow, without even getting the haircut. I'm already sold before I even got the haircut. So then the cutter came over and we started having a chat, and he cut my hair and we got on. He asked me great questions and he's really engaging and he's a great guy, and he ran the facility with his boyfriend who gave me the scalp massage and gave me the shampoo, and I left and it was $35. Now back in those days, we're back in the 90s then, $35 for a haircut was a lot of money. I can go down to the barber for $5 if I wanted to, but I was very happy to pay $35. Hey, there's my $35, and I was charging $50 back in the 90s for personal training. This is the early 90s, not the late. This is the early 90s. We're looking 1991, around that time frame. I was charging $50 a session for personal. I was very happy to put $35 towards my haircut. I couldn't wait for my hair to grow faster so I can come back and get this magnificent experience. It was a wow experience. We went in with an expectation and they just over-delivered on that expectation. I went out for dinner that night to the Indian restaurant with my 6 trainers, and I started telling them how I had this amazing experience at the hairdressers. And before you know it, over time, word spread, they started going there. They started sending their clients there. And it was just, I'd go in there, and everyone was there. We just knew each other. And it was just the place to be. It was so amazing. And I went there for quite some time. We're talking about over a year or two. But what I noticed over a period of time, well, I got a bit more friendly with the owners. We became friends. We'd go out for dinner. We'd have barbecues. We got comfortable, or they got comfortable with me. But remember, I'm still paying my $35, so remember, I'm still the customer. So I always remember there's 2 particular times that stick out in my mind. I went in there on a Friday expecting, this is my little ritual, have my haircut, have my wax experience, have my beer, have my wine, do a bit of shopping, then go out for dinner with my personal trainers at the Indian restaurant. So I'd walk in there and the lady says, "Hey, hello, Kman, how you going? Have a seat. Would you like a coffee or a tea?" And I went, and I'm thinking, coffee, tea, what's missing? Well, the beer and the wine. I said, so what's with the beer and the wine? She says, oh, we've run out. I says, okay, well, I'll have a coffee. So she makes a little plunger coffee. So it's still very exceptional compared to most places. But when I'm having my coffee, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the beer. So even though it was still a high standard, but they've already given me this standard, and they've come down from a really high standard to a high standard. If that was my first time, I'd be impressed. But I'm used to the real high standard. I'm experienced the gold class. Now I'm getting the silver class. What's going on there? Now, I wasn't upset about it, but I was a little bit disappointed internally, not enough to complain about it. So then the guy who owns the studio wasn't there. Another lady comes up, hey, we'll give you your massages, not my massage, my shampoo. She says, certainly. So I'm waiting for the massage, right? Because the massage is magnificent. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Of course, it feels fantastic. Most people would love the massage, the scalp massage after the shampoo. So she gets in, she shampoos the hair, and she puts it there, and she washes and dries it out. Says, oh, she gets it dry, and off you go. And I think, where's the massage? And the shampoo seemed to be rushed. It's almost like she was late for something. She was late for a date, man, I don't know. But I held up and said, well, that was quick. And it probably wasn't quick compared to some, but it was quick compared to the standards they already given me. Then I sat down, I went like this, waiting for the lady to come and give me my hand massage. And I said, where's so-and-so? And she says, oh, she's left. And what left with so-and-so was the massage. So now I'm thinking, I get a haircut. We have a good conversation with the owners. I go and pay my $35. How am I feeling? If that was my first time, it's still impressive compared to other places. But it wasn't impressive to what they sold me. Now, I expect what I was given. Now, promise is not always a verbal promise. A promise is what you delivered in the very first session. That's your unverbal promise. That's the actions. It speaks higher than words. And when those actions come down, you have a series of broken promises. And that continued over a period of time, and then the business deteriorated. They were having some internal challenges, relationship challenges, and always remember this day is the day that was the end. It was actually on a Saturday this time, and I walked in because I couldn't get there on the Sunday, and I walked in, and it was late in the afternoon, like we were talking about 4:30, something like that, closing time's 5 o'clock. I walk in, it's pretty much empty, I'm the only one, there's two girls there, they're having this little deep conversation. As I walk in, they stop the conversation, and you know when you walk in and two people are having a conversation, you feel awkward, like you're interrupting them, you shouldn't be interrupting because there's something deep and meaningful or something personal, and they stopped and they looked at me like deers in the headlights, looked back at them, as if to say, oh, geez, I feel I'm interrupting. I said, oh, hello. I said, oh, that's okay. You're here for a haircut. I said, yeah, but when I heard what they were talking about before, as I was walking in, one was saying how they're going out partying that night, and the other one who was saying how they were hungover from the night before partying. And they looked at me as if to say, who's going to take him? Let's draw straws, like the smallest straw gets to cut Kman's hair, like it's a punishment. And the one who's hungover said to the one who's going out, says, oh, look, you leave early, I know you're going out, I'll look after Kman. I think, great, I get the hungover one. I walk in, and she says, come around, she takes me around, she puts me in the chair, she sprays water in my hair and starts cutting my hair. I'm thinking to myself, where's my beer, where's my wine, where's the tea? Where's the coffee? Where's the magazines? Where's the shampoo? Where's the conditioner? Where's the treatment? Where's the massage? Where's the neck massage? Where's the hand massage? Where's the hello? Where's the care factor? All gone. She cut my hair, got up, paid the $35, and she says, thank you very much. And I says, look, I hope you get over your hangover, because I'm over this. I didn't say that because I was too polite. I just left and took my business elsewhere. And what happened to that business over time? It deteriorated and ended up going broke and ended up selling it. And even though they didn't sell it because people were no longer getting haircuts, they didn't sell it because people weren't going getting their hair done or their hair dyed, they didn't sell it because the market dried up, they didn't sell it because there was no more money in the marketplace, they didn't go broke, so there's no external factor that made that business go broke. It was purely on they got comfortable, and that led to casual complacency and casualness, and they became the casualties because they couldn't be bothered. So my message to you is that when you are attracting clients, and you attract them because of who you are and your passion and your positivity and your mindset and your communication, and you deliver a fantastic service full of bells and whistles and customer service systems in place, then be aware that if you start to deteriorate them because you get comfortable with the relationship, you become their friend, and sometimes getting close friends because you tend to feel comfortable letting your friends down. That's right, that's Jack, that's right, that's Mary. That should be right, Jake, should be right. Well, it's not in a business relationship. You have to be a professional. Yes, you want to have a great relationship, professional relationship, and I learnt this myself, I learnt the hard way, is yes, I can become very friendly with my clients, I can even socialise, but I won't go and get drunk with them. I might have one beer and that's it. I always leave early. I never overstay my stay. I don't get too comfortable. I don't get too personal. I keep that relationship where they don't become my therapist. So if you deliver a fantastic personal training service, a great training session, full of all the great things that we teach you at Max, all the great and from the reminder text the day before, or the email, or the phone call. Hey Jack, hey Mary, looking forward to training you tomorrow. Get a good night's sleep, drink plenty of water, and tomorrow we're going to do some PBs. We're going to take another step towards that goal of you achieving that fun run, that half marathon, or whatever it might be, or getting your back fixed, or that sporting event. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. And then the next day you arrive early, not late, as the great Vince Lombardi, the great gridiron coach and corporate speaker, says, if you're on time, you're already a half hour late. So you arrive early and you're prepared, you have their favourite music playing, you have an embroidered towel, you have their favourite drink, you have all the exercises set up, you meet and greet them, you get to ask questions about the conversations or the important things in their life, you revisit their goals and why it's their goal and what's going to motivate them, and then you give them the exercises that they enjoy, and then you remember what exercises they did in their personal bests. And then you take them through their training, the cardio, the interval, the strength training, and you attach their goals and their reasons for the goals to the exercise, not just the exercise, but the performance of the exercise. And you do hands-on stretching between the set, you spot actively, and you have a towel, you give them the towel, you give them the water bottle, you give them sensational customer service, and then you walk beside them and you care and you are generally interested, and you don't tell them all about your problems and all the issues in your life. It's all about them. And then you finish off with a great stretch at the end and a shoulder rub and a massage, a pat on the back, a high five, and you give them their favourite lolly or drink, and you remember when their birthday is and the special events and when their kids going to their first day of school and all those things that make up the essence of their life, and you understand that and you add value to that. And once you raise all those standards, then you have to continue with those standards, and that requires discipline, and putting in discipline and systems to make sure that those standards are always delivered, so therefore their expectations are always met. And there's a great theme in business: always deliver more than what is expected. If you give people more than what they expect, they'll always walk out going wow, and they keep coming back. And each week you look at ways to wow them, or ways to make them go, wow, that was different, wow, that was cool, that was fantastic, in a good, positive way. If you do that, and you keep growing your business that way and growing your expectations, your business will keep growing, your future will keep growing, and you'll have a long, very successful, very fulfilling career as an exercise professional, surrounded by great people that you love to train, not people that you get too comfortable with, and then the relationship starts to die out. And it's very important that you always have to be on your game, particularly your attitude. I was with a fight coach the other day, and I went in, I'm paying them to train me, and I walk in, I said, hey, how are you? I'm always lively. How you going? How's the things? And they're going, oh, geez, I'm tired. That was the first words came out of their mouth. So a great philosophy I learned is only share your problems with people who are part of the solution. And really, therefore, you're only really going to share it with you. If you've got a health problem, share it with your doctor. If you have a business problem, share it with your business coach. If you have a financial problem, share it with your accountant. If you have a psychological problem, share it with your psychiatrist. But don't share your problems with other people. Yes, your clients are going to come to you and train with you, and they're going to share all sorts of problems in their life, which is the greatest compliment you can get, because they trust you to share those personal things. But you, as the exercise professional, the exercise coach, the personal trainer, it's not you about sharing your problems with them. And many times in this profession, I've come across trainers who are telling their clients all of their problems, their financial problems, their relationship problems, their career problems, their business problems, whatever it might be, their injury problems. I remember going to a personal training studio owned by a colleague of ours, and it was an open night, and they had all the trainers, and they had over 100 clients there. And I was listening to the clients talking, who do you train with? And a lot of them going, yeah, and they were telling me all about the trainers and their problems and what they were, the things they were going through. And I thought, well, that's not right, because as a trainer, it's not about you sharing with them all of your challenges. It's actually the reverse. But because you get comfortable, before you know, the roles reverse, and before you know it, they become the counselor, the therapist, and you become, the person, the client. Well, make sure you don't fall into that trap, because they don't come there to listen to your problems. They come there because ideally they want to come to a place where they can share what's going on in their life freely, openly, without judgment and without anyone telling them what to do. So if you keep that in mind as an exercise professional, yes, you might share a little bit back and forth to stimulate a conversation, but remember the relationship. You are the exercise professional and they are the client, and don't make sure that that doesn't get reversed when you go through that comfort zone, because that comfort will kill the professional relationship. If you haven't got what they want, they're not going to pay you for it. So you have to be the person who's always more positive, more passionate, more healthy, more in every aspect of what they want. That's called a leader. That's called a role model. That's called being someone who's a great mentor and a great coach. And as you know, as an exercise professional, you become their role model, you become their, you have what they want, you become their counselor, their therapist, their motivator, their inspirator, you become their priest, you become their dietitian, their physio, you become everything in their life, because you lead by example and you never drop your standards, whether it be your dress standards. As an exercise professional, you're always dressed better than everybody else. You know, we teach in our Max program, you wear black leather shoes and black trousers with a leather belt and a polo shirt and a name badge. And I learned that very early because I looked at what other successful professionals dressed and how they presented themselves. And I said that's why they're getting the big money. And if I want to be taken seriously as an educated exercise professional who knows what they're doing, then I have to at least present that way. You know, if you want to be taken seriously, present and dress seriously, and then educate yourself seriously, so therefore you're going to get a serious result, and add lots of great customer service around that with those expectations to make people feel special, important and worthwhile. And I used to always ask after every training session the 3 questions I always used to ask myself just to check off. And what I used to have is my training card, which I wouldn't carry around with me because that's the barrier between me and my client, but I'd fill out the card after every session, which is all the customer service. Did I give them the consultation? Did I give them the reminder? A phone call? Did I have their favourite drink? Did I have their favourite music playing? Did I give them a favourite exercise? Did I rehash their goals? Did I continue the conversation from the previous conversations? Did I give them a stretch? Did I give them a massage? A little tick box. It only takes 10 seconds, tick, tick, tick. It's just a reminder, because you have to remind they're called systems of standards to make sure that you don't become comfortable, complacent and casual. You always have to do a check-up from the neck up, as the great Zig Ziglar would say. And you've got to put that, you can't trust your memory. Don't trust your memory. Put this great system that you're going to devise and put it on tour in some form of system. I also put it on the back of the training card where I recorded their weights and their reps and all that bit and how they feel, and any personal things I should remind myself from the next training session. And if you do that and you systemize that and you keep growing that, then you're going to get more than what most exercise professionals get. So if you give them more than what they expect, they'll always come back. And those 3 things, which I used to ask myself at the end of each session, is number 1, how much do I know more about them than I didn't know before? It means that's the personal connection. If they share something more about their life than I become a part of their life. So I also ask about their life, whether it be their career or their family or their passions or recreation. And I always think if bit by bit, if I get little bits of it and they'll share more, and eventually they'll just open up more and more conversation, and they're sharing the things that are important to them, the things they are passionate about, the things that are meaningful. And if they share that with you and they share their life with you, you become more a part of their life. Second question is, how much did we laugh? Now the other side is might be sometimes cry, because if they're laughing, it means we're having a good time. You tend to go where you're getting a good laugh, because you laugh with your friends, you laugh with the people you trust, and sometimes that might be, did we cry or did they cry? It means they trust you enough to share something which is really saddening happening in their life, or a challenge or a problem in their life, whether it be a divorce, a sickness, or a business or a career thing or a family thing, but they trust you enough to share that with you where they get quite emotional about it. So how much did they laugh? Sometimes if they cry, if they're crying in front of you, means they trust you. If they're laughing, they're having a great time with you. And the last one, how did they progress? What was their personal best? What did they do today that made them feel significant? Did they do an extra rep on the bench press, or did they do an extra push-up? Did they do an extra set or new exercise? Something where they can go away and be proud of. And all of those things all wrapped up will meet all the 6 human needs. And the 6 human needs is they have certainty. It means if they come to you, they're always going to be certain about that customer service, that wow factor, that feeling, that emotion. People go back with this certainty. They go back where there's some form of guarantee, where they're going to get what they expect, and they'll tend to be attracted. Also, a bit of uncertainty is a second human need. It means you might change it up a bit. You add a bit of variety, a bit of progression. You might switch it a bit, but don't make it too complicated where they get confused. Then they'll go back where they feel significant, where people make them feel special and important in what. When they feel, hey, high five, great job, geez, you're looking good, you look in great shape, that's a great achievement. It doesn't always have to be necessarily attached to the exercise session. It could be about their career or their family or their kids or their recreation or things that are important to them. Hey, high five, that's sensational, you're a bloody champion. Then they go when they want to get some form of growth. Growth means they're getting better, they're being challenged, they're growing as a person in physical and mental, and they're becoming better, and you have to lead by example in that area. And then they're going to go with this some form of contribution. Contribution means you're giving back. Now if you give to them, they'll pass it forward, because passion is passed on. So contribution, that comes from you by giving. If you give to them, they'll give to their children, they'll give to them. That's one of the biggest things I notice when you train clients, is that how you change their life is that you're passing it on. You're passing that positive attitude, that passion, that health, and they tend to pass that on to their circle of influence and their family and their friends. And the last one is that love and connection. And that love and connection is that you build in the relationship. That love and connection is that they feel safe with you, they feel secure, they feel loved, they feel cared for, because that is one of the human needs. And so all these systems in your training should meet all the human needs. And if you do that, then they're going to walk away feeling completely fulfilled as a human, because you've met all the human needs. So if we look at Business 101 in the most simplistic way, and this is a great philosophy that Rory shares with our graduates to wrap it all up, in business you find a problem, you offer the solution, and then you create a wow experience. And that wow experience is all those standards that become their expectations that meet all the human needs. If you do that, you're going to have a prosperous, fulfilling, happy, passionate career full of purpose. See ya in the next Kmax.